ACTV.
Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, when Jesus walked. Oh, when Jesus walked. He washed my sins away. Yeah. Woo!
Okay. Hello, I'm Ron Nestor. I'm the producer of the Motown Man show. We're doing the Strip Search special today, the Motown Man show Strip Search special, because it was all over the news. I figured that we might want to be having a conversation about it. So we have a guest here. His name is Matthew Rasanen. He's a local carpenter here. And Benny is the host of the show, and you know Benny Johnson is called the Motown Man.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to kind of have a little bit of a conversation about this Supreme Court decision that was made just a week or so ago about the strip searches. And so we're going to be having a conversation here. I'm going to let Benny take over the microphone. I'm going to give the mic back to Matthew here.
Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody for watching the Motown Man show today. And we have a very special guest today. My producer, Ron Nestor, just introduced Matthew here. And we're going to be talking about the Supreme Court decision about strip searching people. And I'm going to start out with you right now, Matthew, get things going right quick. I think you was telling me about a story on the way here, so our audience can understand what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Would you be kind enough to give me, let's talk about it a little bit, give us a little preview of what we're going to be talking about?
Okay, part of one of the cases that came in front of us Supreme Court was this case of this man and his wife driving. She was stopped for speeding, and his identification was Ash, and due to a computer error, he was arrested because they thought he was a person who had an outstanding unpaid traffic violation of some kind. In the process, he had gone to jail. He was strip searched twice, and it took him 6 days to get out.
Wow.
It sounds really...
Now, when you say, I want the audience to understand, he was in one jail, and he went to another jail? Is
right.
And he was strip searched again.
Right. Apparently, being in the system, strip search once, apparently you're not known to be safe when you go to another jail, so they just do it again.
So, seemed like, this is kind of bizarre, it seemed like the officers not competent, and the other officers who had him.
Right. They apparently don't have a lack of trust or something.
Yeah. The guy...
Maybe they're a little bit over... indulgent in...
Well, they might call it protocol.
Yeah.
But what's your opinion about it?
Seems to be really overboard to me. The Supreme Court decision, I think, was on April 2nd. They can strip search anyone for any reason at all, even like for not paying child support or jaywalking, or they mentioned a case where someone the strip search because they didn't have a bell on their bicycle.
Wow.
How in the world can that happen? What kind of dangerous criminals are riding bicycles now?
Yeah, I can understand cops have a hard job, and people carry weapons on them, But when you're talking about a guy with a bell ringing on his back or whatever, little stupid stuff, I have to say.
Yeah, that sounds really kind of bizarre.
Yeah.
And a person should really have some sign that they're engaged in some suspicious activity, or I suppose if they can genuinely look suspicious aside from just being racial profiling, that might be cause, but otherwise there's all these cases where, for sure it's really going to happen now, where people are totally innocent, and they even look innocent. And,
so it seems to me like people get these laws, by the way, was the Supreme Court decision, was it split Was it a human?
Yeah, I believe it was, 5-4 ruling, so it doesn't
Oh,
really
was it
make-
now they
Yeah.
so, and in other words, it seems like people take power and just use it to humiliate other people who they want to.
Yeah, it certainly does seem that way. It's a really good way of gaining control over a person is to humiliate them.
So do you agree with what I said before? Cops should have the right to search when they come to jail.
I think that is even debatable because a lot of people, they're just plain not the type of person. They weren't arrested for the type of situation where it might call for that or even make a person suspicious.
So
There's a lot of people who go to jail, they're just plain not suspicious people.
So what you're saying, we should have different categories, maybe that we strip search people. Is that?
Yeah, and it can obviously
Because we
not
got.
have a straight line, but be a little.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be strip
gray
searched,
area.
and but I know cops have a hard job,
Oh yeah. They do.
and they want to go home to their families.
But they had mentioned
Yeah.
here there's a nun who was strip searched because she was at a protest movement. Now that really seems
So So what I say about that is, we should. You do agree? Maybe we should have different categories where we strip search people. Now, Ron, the producer, Ron Nelson, he just informed me. I read one of the papers that someone was strip searched in a liquor store.
in the store.
Inside of a liquor store in Springfield.
Whoa.
And people were on the outside. And my thing about that is, you got kids walking by. You got all kind of people.
Yeah, I assume you're talking about in the public area inside as opposed to being in a back room.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's really.
They in fact, Ron had that on one of these little pampers here, and
It was on the newspaper. It was on the
What's-
front page of the newspaper.
front page. What's the name of that newspaper?
Springfield Republic.
That's our producer. You can't see him, but he's there. But anyway, by the way, Ron, would you like to be strip searched?
No, I'm not really.
Well,
I'm not ready for it.
That's one of my long-term dreams. It's part of my bucket list.
Wait, now we got to get this straight. You got to explain that your long-time dream of what? But anyway, what we're trying to just say to the audience here is that it's humiliation to some people. They're being humiliated for no reason. Like I said, if you got a machine gun or you loaded with drugs, and in other words, probable cause. Is that what you're saying?
Probable cause, right? That's it. It says right here about it. 10 states forbid the procedure, and the High Court's ruling is at odds with federal policy. This article does not say what it was. And the American Bar Association filed a brief in the case, noting that international human rights treaties also ban the procedure. So it's like,
Yeah, that's right. I read
it's
that.
like not many people are for it.
Wow, that is.
A regular pat-down, a good pat-down, should find
Guns,
basically everything.
drugs, yeah.
There's very little that can be hidden.
What's the name of those guys at the airport? TSA. They seem like they love to do that. Yeah. Seem like they love the.
Yeah, they had this. I saw a little clip on the web that they patted down I think it was a 5-year-old child.
Oh, I seen that. That was on the news.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. What would a 5-year-old?
Yeah, well, whatever.
The gun is bigger than the kid.
Yeah, right.
And we got all these machines and everything. So what you're suggesting here is that we should have different categories that we strip search.
That really makes sense. There'd be one, the major category, have a real category. There's a category of people that's not.
And if you're arrested,
and then there'd be a gray area in between.
So you're saying also, if you're in one jail and you got to go to another jail, you're being transferred to another jail. That should be just strip search in the first jail.
Unless the individual had contact with an outside person, out of sight of other people, there should be no need for that.
I agree. And once again, please note that he said you can say this again so they can understand. Pick this up. The treaty that we have, international treaty, forbids some of.
International Human Rights Treaty.
Yeah. You know, I wasn't aware of that myself.
It's amazing how this country is, I don't know, some other countries seem to be way ahead of us in terms of human rights and stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And the medical field also. Which brings up another case, the shooting of, the shooting that everybody saw. Trayvon and what's his name? Zimmerman.
Zimmerman, yeah, that's, I understand that in about an hour there's going to be an announcement about what charges they are going to bring against. Right,
but let me just say this to you and to the audience. You know, it would be wonderful to, let's say, criminals, anybody who's going to jail, if they could just go to the DA and say, look, I didn't do this. You know, I don't want to see anybody shot, but what I'm saying here is they took him at his word. Now, how many people that's in prison now, if they had been like, what's his name, Zimmerman, if the DA if they could have simply said, I didn't do it, which most people say when they're in jail anyway, well, if they had just took everybody at their word, like they did Zimmerman, it would be nobody locked up now.
Right.
And so the point here is, he should have been made to go through the system anyway.
Yeah, and he definitely should have been charged with manslaughter, because that's essentially what he did.
Yeah. You
know, if not second-degree murder.
Right, but he still should have been going through the system.
Yeah, right, and they just did nothing that day, the same night.
And he should have been strip searched.
Oh, God, yeah.
He should be
Boy,
stripped.
talk about candidates for being stripped.
Yeah. Another thing about this case is, this guy's running behind this kid, and he has no identification. I mean, if somebody was following me, and they grabbed me or told me to stop, well, if they ain't got no identification saying that they're the police, or and this guy, from what I hear, he's not dressed properly.
Yeah.
He
wasn't dressed. He had no uniform.
He didn't tell Trayvon who he was, and by the way, he was just a watcher.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be a watcher. And I want to say this to whoever's out there want to be police officer, and if you're a watcher, the job is to watch, not to kill. Yeah. Remember that, watch, not to kill.
He contacted, 911 was it, and they told him not to take any action, because his duty was just to watch.
And here we go again.
Wait till backup had come up.
Right, and here we go again, another case being abused, and what you're saying about the back to strip searching again, people, let's say, and one thing I want to note here is, Amherst police and Northampton police officers, I would always say, I have been saying this, they're the best in the country. And the reason why I say that is because they're more family, how you say that? You know, they're
family-oriented?
Oriented, yes. And I've been arrested a couple of times, and they treated me very well. And I observed other police officers in other cities and states, and they're nothing like here. So I do recommend our company. I just want to just say that the police officers here are better than a lot of them across the country.
Oh yeah, good to hear. I've never been arrested. I'm not looking forward to the experience.
Yeah, and we have a lot of, in Northampton we have a lot of young police officers who don't need a little sensitive training. One of the reason is, one of the places I should say, is in Hampshire Heights. It's a poor, considered the dump of Northampton. And when they go in there, they're a little frustrated, and they're kind of like angry with the people, the poor, the people there, because they're thinking, they see that the garbage isn't being picked up. Well, whose fault is that? The housing authority is supposed to keep that place clean. And everybody who lives there have a certain responsibility to clean up their space also. But people that live there, most of them don't have jobs, and they're people of color. So a lot of young police officers I think need a little sensitive training. But on the whole, Northampton and Amherst police officers, I would say, the best in the country as far as treating people. Well, I should say all people, but especially people of color, because racism ain't went nowhere yet. It's still out there, and
Yeah, it's really amazing that it's still exists.
yeah, it's like open. You know how to go for open duck season. I used to watch the Bugs Bunny show, and Dabby Duck, and it's been like open season for us sometimes, and you don't hear about it because until something happened like what happened with Trayvon. So, but it's a lot of things that what we really need is community input in some in the courts and in the decision making of some of the some of the laws that they do. We need to get some kind of community board that get involved in the police department, not to fight each other, but to help. Instead of fighting each other, like help each other to treat everybody fair, not just because you got money, but treat everybody the same.
Yeah, the human race is like one large team effort. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
And we should do this all the way down to the town and city level. If the whole world is a team effort sort of way.
Yeah, it would be wonderful.
Many of our problems.
But it ain't something that we can't do, though. For instance, I've always thought of having a group of a community of people. I would call them, since this guy called himself a community watcher. He's supposed to be watching out for crime. I was thinking about we should have people that go to court and watch how the judges dish out punishment to poor people as opposed to people who have money.
And some of the attorneys probably should be watched as well, because the court seems to be a contest of winning as opposed to trying to find out the truth of the matter, especially in civil suits. Well, actually, in criminal cases too, it's like the DA. You hear about these cases occasionally. I assume most of them are not like that, but they overlook actual evidence that might go against them, that sort of thing.
I see.
And that cases are overturned, on top of that sometimes, and other times innocent people end up going to jail when a little harder look at the case might show otherwise. Because once the cases have, the official suspect, usually they stop looking for someone else. And, that's like a big problem sometimes.
Well, this case with Trayvon's shooting, and our condolences go out to the family, by the way, and to the people that's y'all out there fighting for to get justice. Keep doing what you're doing. Just make sure it's nonviolent. We don't want people to get hurt. We don't want to start a racial thing either.
Oh yeah.
And by the way, the police department had told that guy, look, don't follow him. So to the people out there, I know it's frustrating to have this happen and nothing is being done as of yet. I think you said we're waiting on a decision.
Yeah, I think it's less than an hour.
Yeah, and I just want to say, if you get arrested and feel that, if you get arrested on something that's very, something for a ticket, something like you was talking about, a bicycle,
Yeah, bicycle bill.
An example, yeah.
People are arrested for non-payment of child support. That's a similar case, and those are real arrests.
Yeah.
That's like a domestic issue. It's like, these people are some kind of criminal that take their guns or their drugs into the system or stuff like that. It's like,
well, I'm just thankful that we haven't had things like that happen here with our police department. Like I said, another reason why family are oriented, yes. So we want to be thankful for that. And a lot of times I've had a lot of problems of people in the community, and I went up and talk to the captain or the chief, and they listen. So that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I always I always tell people. Another thing is, I tell people if you don't like cops, you got to respect them, because if we didn't have police, I couldn't go pay my bucket. We couldn't go to the supermarket. So we got to understand that when the officers go home, they take that what they see in the street with them. I used to be a security guard, and I saw a guy got robbed and stabbed, and he died in the hospital. I used to work in a hospital, and he gave me all this stuff to give his kids for Christmas Eve it was. And the guy died, and took me weeks to forget about that. So one time a police officer gave me a ride home, and he said, Benny, do you want me to drop you off? You want anybody to see you with me in the car? And I said, no, what's going to happen when I need you? So I said, crooks calls cops too. So we just thankful that we got a good police department here. Yeah, they put it decent here in North Elton and Amherst. But back to the strip search thing again. I say if this happened to anybody in our area, I'm pretty sure it won't, but if it does, report it.
We'll hear about it,
Yeah, you should report it, because we ain't going to let one bad apple get away with it, and we ain't going to let one bad apple make it bad for everybody. So, the Motown Man want to be fair to everybody here. Ron Nessler here.
We want to make sure that tell them that the Supreme Court approved it, so they can't really do too much about it.
That's going. You want to elaborate on that? What he just said again?
Yeah, well, the Supreme Court, it's like the law of the land now. I'm sure there'll be other cases that we brought up to try to have them modify their position, but how long they'll take, I can imagine it taking years.
Do you think they're going to go and have another vote over that? This is, it's been tough.
I think that was the final vote.
Say it again?
I think that was the final vote.
Oh, I see.
Like that's over now.
That's one thing I don't like about the Supreme Court.
Other cases.
That's the bad thing about the Supreme Court. They're like, it's like God. This is my decision. And they're not infallible either.
Yeah, and they don't answer to anybody, as I understand it. There's no Supreme Court overseer.
That's right.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, these are the people that make things bad for.
Yeah, they're supposed to be
so
the final word, the final arbiter of fairness, truth and justice.
Now, did you know that Clarence Thomas, I would assume that, I'm pretty sure, that he voted to have that, to make it legal.
Right.
I'm pretty sure.
I believe he's one of the conservative judges.
Yeah, I think he's, one of the things about the Obama health care program, I think his wife has a position which is a conflict of interest. She has a position, I can't think of the name of the part of the government that she's in, but she has a position that conflicts with the decision to get rid of Obamacare. Do you know anything about that?
I don't know.
Yeah, because, and I'm pretty sure, that's his wife. So husband and wife stick together. And
So I just read today that one of the main objections to Obamacare is that it's supposed to obligate everybody to pay this very large amount of money every month. But as I understand that the Obamacare has it's called the Bronze Plan, which is only partial coverage. It's called a catastrophic care, I believe, for the really bad things that happen to you. They'll take care of them, but and so you pay quite a bit lower amount of money. And as I understand what I was reading today, no argument has been made about that. So the Supreme Court so far, as I understand, has only been hearing that the Obamacare is about this very large monthly payment. It'd make a big difference.
Yeah, I just wish they would just go ahead and model the healthcare system like they do in Canada. Or like they got in Cuba.
Well, this state is pretty good.
Now somebody might say, somebody say Motown Man didn't go to Cuba. I'm not flying nowhere. Only place I'm flying is right here with my cape and Amherst and Northampton. But we should get a program that's already been successful
Right,
for years.
Yeah, I think most of Europe has a program like that.
Yeah. So another topic that I want to ask you a few questions about is the shelters. They take. I'm always. There was an article. I was in it. The Collegian 2 days ago, and what I'm talking about is the shelters taking people at night, and which is good, but then they throw them out at 7 o'clock in the morning. What do you think about that?
Oh, might be a little too early.
Right.
Yeah.
Where are they going to go? Dunkin' Donuts don't let them sit there anymore. And I'm saying if you're going to take care of somebody, don't brag about it and say how wonderful you are. When 7 o'clock comes and the weather is all, it's, like we got severe weather outside, what's going to happen with that? What's people going to do?
They probably do that so that people aren't milling around and assuming occasionally someone may be causing a scene or giving them some kind of a problem.
What are you saying?
Everyone's out at 7 o'clock and there's no problem after that.
Well, you know what I'm saying. We got to have room for the other people.
That's another case where it's like everybody is the same. Everyone is the same, just like the strip searches. Everyone is susceptible to being strip searched. And everyone has to leave at 7 o'clock regardless of whether or not they're the troublemaker type.
Yeah. Another thing also, that's kind of bad is about the healthcare system. Mm-hmm. The healthcare system. Doctors are overburdened with paperwork. And I'm going to keep saying this every time I'm on the show. Let the police take care of people who abuse the pills. And let the doctors be doctors. Because poor people can't get medication. I have people come around all the time. I hear about complaining. And I was one of them for 2 years. Couldn't get the proper medication. I got a roller cup chair. And what happened is you go to these doctors and some of them play God. Thank God I got a good one now. But you go to these doctors and go, well, I don't think you're a great candidate. I don't feel good about giving you this medication. Well, it ain't you that feels. I want to feel good.
Yeah.
And I say the law should be, if you can justify that you have pain, a roller cup tear, or something that could be documented, you should be given what you're supposed to be getting. Mm-hmm. They made this medicine, and that's what it's for. And we also know that rich people always get the drugs they need. Mm-hmm. It's brought to them. Sadly to say, Whitney Houston, that was one case, Michael Jackson. Yeah. This guy bringing truckloads of medicine to Michael Jackson.
Really, yeah.
So, and I see people, especially of color, they can't get the medication they need. My daughter has this moving arthritis over her body, and she can't get
moving arthritis.
Fibromyalgia, whatever you might want to call it.
Really, it goes from joint to joint.
Yeah, it moves around. Whoa. And she can't get up in the morning. Her daughter has it also. And I'm also I'm seeing these planes. I've seen on the Discovery Channel, they got these planes dropping aluminum foil over some spots in Massachusetts. You could go on your computer and look that up. They're poisoning the air. My son has asthma. I never had asthma. A lot of young people are sick today at an early age. Why is this happening? And Ron, my producer, Special Operations, he would love to know this, that the government has been experimenting with modifying the weather. In other words, controlling the weather. So they could go without dropping a bomb. They could just go and just wipe you up with some water, or wind, or snow.
So you're saying that it's for military use as opposed to controlling local hurricanes or tornadoes?
Yes, so a lot of this has been going on there. So, Matthew, I want to thank you for coming on the Motown Man show and giving your expertise, and the Cat Man, my producer, Ron Nessa, of the Special Operations Society. But he's involved in a lot of these things, bringing to my attention that's affecting people in the community, and we just hope none of the strip searching never happened to some of us in here.
Yeah, let's hope so.
For no good reason. But if you do the crime, you do the time. But if you do the crime and you don't want to buy no time and you don't want to get strip searched, come see what that is, special operations. But anyway, I'm just talking with dogs out here. But I would love to sing a song about this. But I want to thank y'all again for watching the Motown Man show. And as always, love, peace, and happiness.
Lord, I thank you so much for what you've done for me, and your name is worthy to be praised forever. Listen, y'all, I'm not giving up, I'm holding to my faith. I know in my heart I'm living by His grace, 'cause it's in His word and nothing that I say. I do believe He will show me the way anytime you call His name. He's the one who hears you. He's always on time. He may not answer you right away. He's always on time. He give you peace of mind. Lord, I thank you so much for what you've done for me, and your name is worthy to be praised forever.